told? I was wondering, how do you film people in your travel films?
Are you serious? Like, can't you see I'm in the middle or something?
Oh yeah? Well...
Are you serious? I was filming her. Okay, let's get this over with. Hey Globetrotters, welcome to the first part of the making of Don't Go to Taiwan. If you haven't seen the video yet, make sure you click right there. Before I share some basic tips on how to film people in your travel films, I think it's essential to talk about gear. So for this project, here is all the gear we used. A Sony a7 III and a Sony a7R II filming me right now, on which we mounted a 2470 G Master and a 1635 G Master and a 24mm 1.4. These cameras and lenses are pretty great. They can pretty much adapt to any lighting conditions and the image quality is really amazing. For filming, we mainly use the 2470. This lens is so versatile it can probably cover 90% of your needs. You can shoot close-ups, wide shots, handheld following shots, and even extremely close-up shots that kind of look like macro, even though it's not really macro, provided you have ND filters, of course. The 1635 is also great for filming, but we mainly used it for landscapes and some facecam vlogging shots, even though you can also use it for medium shots and get a very nice bokeh. We didn't use the 24mm so much, except for low light shots, for which its wide aperture can be very handy. We also had a Sony Alpha 6300, on which we mounted a 10-18mm. We actually only use this one on our Crane Plus gimbal because it's important to have a light and compact setup when you're traveling and having long day shoots. Last, we did our drone shots with a Parrot Anafi. I really like this drone because it's very compact and easy to fly. And now let's get back to the first question. How do I film people in my travel films? The first thing you should know before you film someone is whether you want the fourth wall to be broken or not. For those who are not familiar with the concepts, it basically is a performance convention in which an imagined wall separates actors from the audience. For filmmaking, a performer ignoring the camera means the fourth wall is not broken. Do you want people to be acknowledging the camera, or do you just want to steal natural moments? I personally like to mix. Traveling is about discovering customs, so I like to capture locals in their spontaneous daily lives. But traveling is also about meeting and bonding with people. And looking into their eyes is probably the best way for the audience to experience this feeling. Sounds pretty obvious, but filming someone without him or her knowing is the best way to get a candid reaction. But don't get me wrong, I'm saying you can get it afterwards, because unless you're using a telephoto lens, the person will eventually notice you're filming her or him. And when she or he notices, a smile is generally sufficient to get an implicit consent. If you're not comfortable with filming sneakily, don't be afraid to ask. Depending on the country you're visiting, you will probably have people saying no. But it shouldn't break your confidence. It's better to get a no than waste a potential yes just out of fear. And trust me, a big smile usually convinces most people. If you're filming someone who actually agreed to perform for you, the best way to get a natural performance is to have your actor forget that is being filmed. And this works with both amateurs and professionals. To do so, you only need to have your performer distracted by making him focus on an action. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple direction like grab this or keep doing what you were doing usually works pretty well. Imperceptible expressions can say a lot. And to make sure you get those tiny facial gestures, you need to shoot as much as possible and in slow motion. The good thing with Sony cameras is you can switch custom settings very quickly. So whenever I'm about to film someone, I switch to my slow-mo setting. That's how you get those essential eye blinks, frowns and smiles that give character to your film. Don't forget that you're not filming an animal or an object. So even if the language barrier makes it harder, take the time to actually share a moment with the person. You can explain what you are doing, you can say where you're from, and try to learn about the human being you're facing. It will not only help your subject relax and treat the camera as a person, but you can also end up with a very nice story to tell on your other social media. The portraits I post on my Instagram tend to have way more engagements when I tell the story of my subject. And of course, it will make your travel experience way better. That's it for my tips on how to film people in your travel videos. Make sure you like if you enjoyed this video and feel free to leave a comment to share your tips.